Who gets the final F1
seat
in 2025? Hello everybody and welcome back to the P1 podcast with Matt and Tommy. We are into the autumnal break. I hope you're all surviving this torrid time. Today we're going to be chatting about the final F1 seat, although yes, disclaimer, the V-carb seat is not absolutely convinced as to who's going there. Lawson could bin it in the next 6 races, but we're kind of assuming it's Liam Lawson, aren't we, Tommy?
Yeah, Liam Lawson seems very much locked in, unless he does really well. But we're not here to discuss Sergio Perez for the 50,000th time.
So yes, we're going to basically go through all the candidates that we believe have any kind of shot of getting the Sauber seat and giving a grade from 0 all the way through to 10 as to how likely we think it's going to happen. So shall we start with our driver ratings god? It's Zhou Guanyu. He's currently 25 years old and he's the current Sauber driver, of course. I think he's gotten away with his performances being somewhat mediocre, to be putting it nicely, for quite some time, but I think a lot of people are now starting to realise just how far off the back he is most weekends, although I've had the occasional 6 out of 10 in driver ratings. You're welcome, Zhou. My grade is 2 out of 10 for Zhou Guanyu as to how likely it would be for him to get the seat next year. Zhou has a very small opportunity, I would say, to keep that seat. I don't think it's going to happen, but I can't say it's absolutely categorically not going to at the same time, and that's why it's a 2.
So my grade is similar, but not exactly the same. It's a 3 out of 10. I've gone for Zhou Guanyu, which is, funnily enough, most of his driver ratings. He has definitely under-delivered, and there are these drivers that have had their time. I know it's difficult to perform well in the car that he's got, but the reason I've given it a 3 is just because I think there's obviously backing there. If they want a very just safe continuation of a driver before they turn to Audi, and then it's more like, right, now we're going to get our lineup, maybe that could help him, but I personally just don't see it happening.
Let's go to the next candidate, which is Theo Pourchaire. He is the current Sauber reserve driver. He's 21 years old and a Formula 2 champion from 2023. What have you gone for, Tommy?
I've actually gone for a 6 out of 10. A 1-year break from driving just feels like enormous. It feels like he's this forgotten guy, but he's still 21 years old. He is their reserve driver. He was the champion in F2. So you do feel like if they would want a young driver to go with a bit of youth alongside Hülkenberg, of course, who's got the other seat that we've not mentioned, maybe it's Theo Pourchaire.
Disagreements are coming. I have given Theo Pourchaire a 1 out of 10. I think it's happening. I just can't see it. They don't talk about him. They don't put him in the limelight. They don't do anything. At least Jack Doohan was doing every interview in the history. Like, he was the Sky's co-commentator at most points. He'd always be there in FP1. I feel like Alpine were always pushing him forward. I don't see that from Sauber unless I'm watching with my eyes closed. And it's sad because he is a great talent. I think he's the youngest ever Monaco F2 winner, and he has a lot of things going for him. He just peaked at the wrong time when we saw absolutely nobody get promoted when he became champion. So for me, I don't see it happening, sadly, for Theo. I hope it does, but I just can't see it. Let's go to Gabriel Bortoleto, current McLaren junior driver, and he's leading the Formula 2 Championship as a rookie. I am going to lock in a 3 out of 10, Gabriel Bortoleto. My main reasoning for that is that he is under contract with McLaren. I don't see for a second McLaren giving up Bortoleto, who is obviously doing very well in Formula 2 straight from the get-go, that McLaren will want to keep Gabriel in their ranks as much as possible, and unless Sauber / Audi are willing to pay a huge amount of compensation, I just can't see it happening. But that being said, if he wins Formula 2, maybe conversations start being had and Audi are like, maybe we should open the purse strings. But I still think it's unlikely. I think he's going to be a McLaren driver in the future, maybe.
I've gone for a 3 out of 10 as well. He could well win the F2 championship as a rookie, but I think the problem for him is that he is a McLaren junior, and to drag him away from McLaren to drive that car, whether he'd even want to do that, and think, do I want to stay in the McLaren pool, see what happens if Lando and Oscar fall out next year over the World Championship and it's a Alonso Hamilton situation, and maybe he jumps.
To say Alonso comes up the inside and wins the championship. I was like, wow, okay, here we go.
Yeah, now you really are in my dreams.
I know I am.
But I just think it is maybe a bit too soon for Bortoleto, and maybe in a weird way he wants to finish second in the championship so he can have another go again and just prove himself even more. But it's hard to know what's best with that, whether you want to win and then take a year out, because we have seen it work. But other times, sometimes you can end up being forgotten about, like we've mentioned with Pourchaire.
Yeah, for those of you that don't watch Formula 2, if you win the championship, you can't then go back into it the next year. So that's what we see, is that drivers reach their potential, win the championship, and then are sat
and then sit on
the side of a pit wall for a couple of zoom-ins every year. That's pretty much all. It's sad. It is really sad.
It's a shame.
Whether the system's broken, I don't know. But let's go to our next driver, Valtteri Bottas. 35 years old, obviously current Sauber driver, and a 10-time Formula 1 race winner.
I've gone for a 9 out of 10 for Valtteri Bottas. I can really see this happening. Not that I agree with it. I think it would be one of the most boring lineups. It's such a Haas lineup if they had Hülkenberg and Bottas, and no disrespect to them, they're both great drivers, but maybe it's not the dream lineup that Audi would have expected when they kind of came in all guns blazing, firing shots at Mercedes, going, look, we're Audi, we're going to be amazing. But whatever the situation is with Bottas, like Daniel Ricciardo, however that pans out, I hope they do announce it soon, so we don't get another situation where we don't really know what's going on, and we can find out, because Bottas would be another driver, if he doesn't get the seat, that we would love to sort of have his moment to wave to the crowd and do some donuts in Abu Dhabi, because he is, like you say, 10-time F1 race winner. That's a lot. There's a lot of race wins.
I am going for a 9 out of 10 as well. I am almost convinced that Valtteri Bottas will be signed for Sauber next year. They're trying to fix a team right now that are absolutely awful. And what better than to have two drivers with a huge amount of experience, knows how to develop a car. Hülkenberg, one of the, if not the best driver ever to not be on the podium. Bottas has worked at Mercedes. I think it makes sense, personally. I'm actually really intrigued to see how he would match up against Hülkenberg. Where will they be in that sort of rivalry? If Bottas is really driving better than at Mercedes, then he could well be peak Hamilton right now, and we don't know.
Is Audi going to be this like fresh break where it's almost like a completely different team? I know they've got Hülkenberg, who is signed, but maybe for the other driver, it could be a 1-year thing, and then no, we are going to put someone more exciting and young in the seat, or go for a risk, or try and get a big name. Now we are going to be Audi, and we can maybe convince them that this new engine or whatever is actually going to be any good, and we're not going to be at the back not scoring a single point.
And you do wonder as well, Audi joining the sport, perhaps they want to make some headlines. Maybe they want to sign a really exciting young prospect when they are Audi, rather than Sauber, this fluorescent green wheelie
getting
bin.
all the press for
Exactly.
it and stuff. So
there's plenty of reasons, I'm sure, behind it. Okay, finally, Franco Colapinto, obviously at Williams at the moment after replacing Logan Sargent, and has had a very impressive start to his Formula 1 career. I am going for a 6 out of 10 Franco Colapinto. I think it would be easier in comparison to McLaren and Bortoleto to steal Colapinto from Williams. Williams can probably afford a nice little driver transfer. Oh yeah, you can go over to Sauber, no problem, and that will be 20 mil. Thank you. So that I'm sure there are conversations being had after Williams have shown off the unexpected talent, I think, for some people, of Colapinto. I don't think it's as likely as Bottas, but I do think that he is second in line should Bottas not want to carry on, or Audi decide that they want to start training up a younger driver for when they eventually take over. But I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility for Colapinto to be signed for next year.
So I've gone for a 5 out of 10. Similar to what I said about Bortoleto, you're kind of having to drag him away from a rival team. Would Franco Colapinto want to... Depends how long this goes on for, and would he hedge his bets and stay at Williams that are looking in a lot better position than Stake? I'm conflicted because I'd love to see him on the grid, and I know a lot of other people would. But I'm also like, would it be a bit of a waste of his career to go to that Stake? It's a really weird situation where you kind of have to choose with your career. Is it F1 or nothing, or do you take a bit of a risk and hope it comes back round and you can get a chance? Because we have seen it happen, but equally you could just get completely forgotten about and you miss the boat. It's the luck of the draw. Like, that is Formula One, that you can make these good or bad decisions and it can literally like completely change the path of your career and how it goes.
I think to combat what you were saying about hype and things dying down, I would argue that Colapinto not being on the grid full stop next year, that it in itself kills a bit of hype. I think in Colapinto's position, you take any seat that's offered to you. You just be on the grid.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, as much as from a fan perspective, hype can simmer and all sorts of stuff because of who's in the limelight. But from a Formula One team talking to each other, scouting talent and things like that, they will know how good Colapinto is. We'll be able to judge from a fan perspective if he's as good as Hülkenberg.
It does seem like a bit of like almost a wasted opportunity to go to Stake. But if you do go there and beat Hülkenberg after how good Hülkenberg's been driving and his qualifying performances and things like that, yeah, you're right. Teams probably will go, oh, actually.
Yeah, and I think it'd be really good for Franco as well, right? To just get more experience under the belt. But it is a case of whether Williams will be happy to let him go. That's the real problem here, I would say. So yeah, who gets the final F1 seat? Basically, we think Bottas, but who actually knows? But that's the beauty of Formula One, isn't it? And I'm so glad we've actually been speaking about drivers moving seats and new talent coming in, because my God, was it depressing last year.
Before Hamilton announcing Ferrari, if you'd gone back to us in January and gone, right, so next year, Jack Doohan at Alpine, Antonelli at Mercedes, Carlos Sainz is going to be in a Williams, you're going to be like, no, this is that when you do the F1 game and it like mixes everything up season to season in a career mode. Insane. Ridiculous.
Can't believe Formula One's in this state, but I'm not complaining in the slightest. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, everybody. We are I don't know why I said everybody twice. We are going to be, of course, live in Canada and the USA. If you want to come see us, there's still some tickets available for some of the venues. We'd love to see you there. What's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are I've
never seen... what the hell am I watching? Hello, Tommy? Do you have a single thought?
Yeah. My thoughts are Sauber, like, just hurry up and make this decision, but not too quickly that we can put this video out first.
Great. So that's going to be useful to absolutely nobody who is now actually watching or listening to this podcast. Appreciate you, Tommy. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you very soon. Hope you're surviving the break. Lots of love. Keep pushing the gym. Sweet dreams. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.